Croeso, welcome back to Corridwen Cottage Diary. We're here in my happy place again. Yay! We're here in the garden on the 17th of May, and I think you'll agree that things have moved on quite a lot since you were with us a few weeks ago. I so love this time of year. I don't really want to do much talking on this video. I just want to show you and revel in the loveliness of the season, really. So as you can see from a wildflower perspective, the lovely pale blue forget-me-nots are going over, but luckily the red campion has galloped in to take its place and is just making the whole garden sing. So for those of you that aren't in the UK and may not have it in your country, I know some of Europe have it. I don't know every country. Let's zoom in a bit. So this is the lovely red campion. So it's called red campion because years ago they used red and pink interchangeably. So it should really be called pink campion, but it's called red campion. And then next to it, this is Aquilegia vulgaris, or columbine, or granny's bonnets, another native. What other natives have we got? The Welsh poppy down here. Let me zoom in. Where are you? There we go, the Welsh poppy there. You can get that in yellow or orange. Natives that have just started flowering now. So that's the yellow flag iris. And then this lovely person here who looks a little bit like the red campion is ragged robin here. They like it quite damp. They're like little pink stars, aren't they? Aren't they beautiful? And you can just see here, this is Gelder rose or Viburnum opulus. This is a native shrub which has lovely flowers and then big bright red berries like a child would draw. What other natives have we got at the moment? Oh yes, let's go over here. So this is lovely common valerian. It's very, very tall. It's lovely and statuesque. So here's the lovely comfrey plant. This is our common comfrey, our native comfrey. Looking absolutely lovely. We have red clover here that's flowering. Again, this one's more of a sort of pinky colour. And our bird's foot trefoil is just starting to flower, which is absolutely lovely. And as you can see, the Anthriscus sylvestris ravenswing is still giving a lovely show, as is GM Mai Tai. And then look at that lovely pop of lilac, lovely scabious butterfly blue there. And then just coming into flower are the alliums, aren't they pretty? And over here, loving this. This is sort of early evening and look at this colour. This is Sweet Rocket. So we've got one in this lovely lilac-y purple colour. And then we've got one in this lovely white colour. They're both wonderful for pollinators, especially night-flying moths. Their scent is released at night. It's absolutely divine. This lovely geranium is Geranium phaeum. Some people say it's native, some people say it isn't truly, that it's just naturalised here, but it's lovely for wildlife. The bees and hoverflies go mad for it. It's a beautiful colour, and it also does very well in the shade, so what could be better, really? Aren't they beautiful? Look at this slow one, look at this lovely face. Sorry, darling.
Can get you in the border.
We'll get you in the border because it's hot, isn't it? And the nasturtium are just starting to flower, which again will provide food for pollinators for months and months on end. And even the kitchen garden is full of flowers, full of food for our little wild friends to enjoy. The Iris iberica, the red campion, still the forget-me-nots, the Aquilegia vulgaris, the nasturtiums, the Welsh poppies. A wildlife garden does not need to be unattractive. If you can see, I'm growing food, plenty of food, an abundance of food, not just for wildlife but for us as well. Look at all these strawberries. I don't know if you can let me try and walk along. It's very bumpy by here. Right, let me see if I can get, sorry about that, that was really wobbly. Can you see the strawberries? I'm actually missing them, hang on. I'm being really rubbish at this. There we go. Look at all of those little strawberries coming. Look at that, what a feast. The garlic is coming. Not a great harvest. I was a bit silly and decided that I would sow garlic from a couple of years ago that we hadn't eaten, that I had grown in the garden, but that had been stored in the kitchen for some time, and it's just looking a bit weedy. Apart from that big one there, that's an elephant garlic that is a new bulb. So I won't do that again. Mistake learnt from. And here are our asparagus, which had been, if you remember in the last video, rather munched by the pheasants. But they're coming back. They are coming back. And I put some lovely nasturtiums. There's just one in flower at the moment to join them. That should be very jolly. I like to give over, obviously, as much of the garden to wildlife as possible, but there's still room for crops. So I've got 2 courgettes in amongst all the flowers here. Oh, I've got some blueberries and some courgette plants in this bed. If we pop into the greenhouse, it's looking a little bit tidier than it was when you were last here. So I've planted out the tomatoes and the peaches. Can I catch it on? It's really hard to see on. And you see we've got some peaches. We've got a few, but I'm struggling to see them. Ah, there we go. Can you just see that other one there? And then some other bits and pieces and pumpkins that I only sowed recently, and some extra tomatoes to go outside. Maybe it doesn't look like a kitchen garden, like a fruit and veg patch, but I assure you there's lots and lots of food in here for everybody. It's nice not to be selfish, isn't it? Let's go up towards Cynthia Rose. Can you see all the elderflowers? Oh, lovely. Elderflower cordial on the menu, I think. So here we are up by the lovely Cynthia Rose, who's keeping an eye on our spuds, on our potatoes that are doing very well, and on our peas that are getting a little bit munched by slugs, but hopefully we will still have a crop. I've put lots of, if you can see, it's looking a bit scruffy by here because I put lots of gorse and holly branches around them in the hope that that will protect them. And this rather bizarre looking setup are the brassicas. So I've got them under netting because we do want a crop of these. We've got lots of brassica, members of the brassica family for wildlife to eat, but we do need to have some food that we can eat. So these are our brassicas, this is our kale, and that's our purple sprouting broccoli. And some friends of ours have just put in a new bathroom, so I asked for all their old copper piping to see if that would protect our crop. So I'll let you know how that does. And here we have lovely chives, absolutely delicious, and lovely flowers for the pollinators. And next to it, this is a British native called Salad Burnet. It's looking a bit sorry for itself because it's actually been very, very warm since we planted it, so it's not looking its best, but hopefully it will recover. So this is called a broom. It's a shrub that I planted from seed, oh, how many years ago? About 4 years ago, and it's enormous. But it's normally, I mean, it's normally humming. In fact, it is humming with bees, if you get your eye in. And it's just joyous. I mean, look at the colour of it. So, as you can see, these pea-like flowers, I'm assuming it's a member of the Lathyrus family, the pea family, because of the, but I don't know. But it's just, I can't find the bees now. It's always the way, isn't it, when you try and look through a screen that you can't. Ah, there we go. Thank you for being so obliging. That's really kind of you. Oh, bless them. You know, those of us that delight in nature, aren't we the lucky ones? Aren't we the blessed ones? Daisy and I were talking about it yesterday. Daisy's home for the weekend. Yay! So obviously happy mum here. And yeah, just some people, you know, some of her friends, some of my friends, they look at nature and just, they don't really get the joy from it. I mean, this is what makes me and Daisy want to sort of squeal with excitement, just seeing wildflowers, just seeing bees and butterflies and moths, and yeah, aren't we lucky? I mean, it's so helpful for your mental health if you genuinely take delight from the natural world. Yeah, so aren't we lucky? I feel incredibly sorry for people that just don't get it. Rather than be angry or frustrated with them, yeah, I just feel terribly sorry for them, because look at what they're missing out on. So these are my new raised beds that I've got under, let's see, can I do it without being really annoying? Under the enormous beech tree. Oh, look at that. And behind the enormous leylandii there. So, you know, some crops do like it a bit shady. So don't think that if you've got a shadier space that you can't grow any of your own food, because you can. So in here I've got perpetual spinach. Ordinary spinach would work here as well, because obviously the problem with spinach is that it has a tendency to bolt. So that means flower and go to seed in hot weather. So having it sort of in the dappled shade of some trees is actually, I'm hoping, will mean that it won't bolt this year. I did have some corn salad here, but that's gone out now. I'm not sure what else I'll put there. And then this is sorrel. So the one on the left is wild sorrel, and like all sorrels has a lovely lemony taste, great for salads. And then that's a cultivated red sorrel there. And then in this bed, I don't know if you'll be able to see anything, to be honest. Maybe just, yeah. So we've got beetroot. Yeah, so I've got beetroot. So these are sort of, I suppose, sort of salady. Beetroot here, and then later on today I'm going to be sowing the rest of the space with carrots. We'll see how we get on. But yeah, gosh, absolutely lovely day. So I know after our vegan cream egg recipe video, when I showed this book briefly, a lot of people were very taken with it and bought it, and I do recommend it if you're interested in British wildflowers at all, because it's so beautiful. And I also know a lot of people have contacted me and said that they bought the book and were going to enjoy flicking through it during my videos to see which of the wildflowers were in my garden that were also in the book. So what I thought I would do at the end of my garden videos would be to quickly show and list all the wildflowers that are currently in flower in the garden, and also the cultivated flowers, but so people can enjoy flicking to the right page in this glorious book and sort of ticking them off really and saying, oh yes, I've seen that one now, because a lot of people, certainly if they're not from the UK, won't have seen some of these species. So yeah, I thought that might be interesting for you. And just as a note of interest, we have over 100 native wildflowers on the land now, the majority of which I've put in, and if I hadn't put them in, they weren't flowering here before we did the work that we've done on the property, i.e. removing all the invasive rhododendron, cutting back a lot of the bramble. We've still got a good amount of bramble because obviously that's good for wildlife, but it completely swamped everything else. So we've now got wildflowers that have just appeared that were probably already there but had been smothered, But yeah, we've got well over 100 British wildflowers, which is absolutely lovely. So yeah, I just thought I'd mention that. So there will be, straight after this bit, there'll be a little list of all the wildflowers that we've currently got flowering in the garden. Yellow pimpernel, water crowfoot, very sweet little pond plant, adorable. The Guelder rose, lovely, lovely shrub. Beautiful berries and lovely leaves, leaf colour in the autumn. Dog violets are hanging on despite the heat and the fact that they're in full sun. The lovely hawthorn flowers. Oh, look at the Germander speedwell. It's a plant that lots of people dig up as a weed, but I mean, look at the flower. And I must admit, I don't let it run riot in the borders because it would take over, but give it a bit of land, give it a little bit in your garden if you're lucky enough to have it, because look what you're rewarded with. Stunning. The comfrey. And just holding on. Bugle, our native bluebell, red clover, bird's foot trefoil, Welsh poppies, salad burnet, yellow flag iris, common valerian, ragged robin, geranium phaeum, Aquilegia vulgaris, red campion, rowan blossom, jack of the hedge, garlic mustard, primroses, elder, lovely for making elderflower cordial and elderberry syrup, wild strawberry flowers, Veronica speedwell, tiny, tiny little flower, but very sweet, the broom, the humming broom, a lovely white cranesbill, lovely white herb robert that we've got here, the ground ivy still hanging on. Small, inconsequential looking spindle flowers, but that are loved by pollinators. Creeping buttercup. Thank you so much for joining me again in the cottage garden. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please consider liking, subscribing and clicking the bell notification so that you know when I've made another video.